We are so happy to have all of you here. We have a great audience here in Hendersonville, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, which is home to our show. And they seem kind of fired up, and they should be. By the way, there are a lot of people in my life to whom I am indebted. My parents, of course, for without them, where would I be? Now, some of my teachers helped me to love learning, and they reinforced the rules that I first learned at home. My first boss was a big influence. He hired me to work at a radio station at age 14. That would pay for my education. I'm still amazed that I was given a key to a radio station at 14 to go in, turn the thing on, and operate it. I'd be reluctant to give a 14-year-old key just to someone to go to the men's room, much less open a radio station. Now, my boyhood pastor and youth pastors reminded me that life was not limited to planet Earth and its treasures or its tragedies. And I'm certainly grateful to my wife, who has put up with me for over 43 years, and with whom we share 3 great adult children and the 6 cutest grandkids ever. But there's a group of people to whom I owe my physical life and the great joy of my liberty. The men and women of our military whose service and sacrifice provide my very next breath of freedom. I know that younger people have no idea what a military draft even is. That's when the government simply called up 18-year-old men and said, "Congratulations," as if they had just won the lottery. And they did, since there was a lottery that picked the birthdays of who would be called and when. Now, the draft ended 6 months before my 18th birthday. And by then, with the Vietnam War winding down and the military drastically downsizing, even my participation in college ROTC was short-lived. The colonel looked at my flat feet and unceremoniously told me to quit wasting my time and the government's money because the military didn't need me, they didn't want me, and they wouldn't have me. That turned out to be great preparation for when voters would later tell me the same thing. We've had an all-volunteer military since 1973, and somehow we've managed to recruit enough of our fellow Americans who are willing to forego the freedoms that we take for granted and stand in the very path of evil to push it back and defeat it. Today, less than 0.5% currently serve. Just over 7% of Americans have ever served. Very few among us have carried the load for the rest. And you'd think that we'd treat them like royalty with all the deference and honor that they've earned. But many of them wait in line for months just for the medical treatment that they were promised. Others come back from combat, maybe without physical scars, but with deep trauma to their souls from PTS, post-traumatic stress. I try to avoid calling it a disorder because these folks don't need a label so much as they need treatment, understanding, and deep appreciation. This is Veterans Day, and we dedicate this hour to some people that you already know and love, and to some others that you need to know and whom you will love before tonight is over. I don't hide my deep gratitude for those who have served in our military, be it the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or those underappreciated tough hombres of the U.S. Coast Guard. To me, they are the real heroes of America, not the entertainers, the politicians, the sports figures, or celebrities. A sign I saw this week pretty much summed up my feelings. It simply said, "A man with a helmet defending our country should make more money than a man with a helmet defending a football." If I take a knee, it will never be to disrespect our flag, our national anthem, or those who fought to provide our freedom. It will be in respect and in awe of the veterans to whom we owe a debt we can never, ever repay.